Hey guys, and welcome back to the Central Buzz News. I wanted to start today by talking about something that happened this month in history, and we are currently in the month of May. 4 years before this, we had several people orbit in space. We had Neil Armstrong, who walked on the moon in 1969. So we have been in space before this. However, our actual first space station, called the Skylab, was actually launched in this month in the 1970s, and it was called Skylab. It was the first successful space station to launch into orbit. So that's a big thing that happened in history in this month of May years ago. So I want to go ahead and talk about our time for today. So I'm going to show you our clock. And I'm going to show you the time here. I want you just to be thinking for just a second about what time this is. And if we look, our hour hand is on the 12. And if I wanted to see where my minute hand was, I would start counting by fives. 5, 10, 15. This is 12:15. Okay, so I have a question for you. So you can pause your screen at any time to answer this question, and then we will go over it together. So it says, which of the following is another way to say 12:15? So I want you to think about some of our sessions we've done before, some of our news sessions where we've talked about the word quarter, where we've talked about noon, and again, our clock was at 12:15. So here are the choices. A, noon. B, half past noon. C, a quarter after noon. Or D, a quarter till noon. So I'm going to let you have just a second if you want to pause your screen here and pick your answer. Okay, and so 12:15. So again, on our clock, we see here, this is what it looks like. And our first answer choice was noon. Well, noon is just 12 o'clock. So if you didn't know that before, know that we also call 12 o'clock in the afternoon noon. So this can't be just noon because we see that our minute hand is pointing to the 15. Our second choice was half past noon. Well, half is 30 minutes. This is what half past noon would look like, 12:30. So that can't be it. A quarter after noon. So if you remember our conversation about a quarter, our clock can be split into 4 equal pieces, and the first quarter has 15 minutes in it. So this actually is 1 quarter after noon. Our last choice was a quarter until noon, so that would back our clock up to here, where it was 15 minutes until noon. So our time is 12:15, and the other way of saying that is C. So if you were thinking C, that's the correct answer. A quarter after noon. That just means 15 minutes after noon or 12:15. All right, so I'm going to go on to our interesting facts for today. And they are about food. So our first interesting fact about food today is that the biggest selling restaurant food is French fries. So that didn't really surprise me a whole lot, just because I know that most restaurants have French fries, and that is definitely a favorite when people go out to eat. And our other fact is about a hamburger. The largest hamburger in the world weighed in at 777 pounds. I have no idea how they made that. I'm going to have to Google that and look into that because that's very interesting to me. But I'll show you our little cartoons of what our facts look like. So again, 777 pounds. So if you think the average person is from probably like 130 to 200 pounds, maybe 300. Think about 777 pounds. That's a couple people put together, depending on the person. So those are our facts for today. And before we move on to our special guest, because yes, we do have a special guest in the studio today, before we get to that, I'm going to do our math problem for today. So this is your time where you will want to, again, pause your screen if you want to work out the problem ahead of me. We're looking at problem number 4 today. So I'm going to put that here. I'm going to read it to you. It says, Lincoln Elementary is having a field day. If 2/8 of the students are on the blue team, 1/8 of the students are on the red team, 1/8 of the students are on the yellow team, and 4/8 are on the green team, which team has the most students? I'm going to leave that there if you want to pause. Okay, so the past couple news sessions that we've done, we have been doing fractions, and we've been talking about comparing fractions, and we've been talking about how it doesn't always have to say which fraction is bigger. We have to visualize the problem, think about what it's saying, and we are really comparing these fractions. One thing that I've noticed about this when I went to go and do my work, I started to draw my models here, is that they are all broken into eighths. So we're looking at comparing eighths, but we're comparing different numerators with that same denominator of an eighth. So when I look back at my problem, because again, that was a lot of words, I have to go back and really break down the problem. So I see that we are dealing with, in real life, I was thinking about a real life problem, we are dealing with a field day. I've been to a field day, you guys have been to a field day, so you think about they're broken up in teams. This field day was broken up into 4 teams, so I have 4 models here. And they are divided by colors. They have color names. And you will see right above my models, I did a B for the blue team, R for the red team, green, yellow. I have all of those labeled. They are all broken into eighths. And just like we talked about last time, if you are using models, one of the most important things to do is to get a cup, get a shape, something you can actually trace to make your models as close to the same size as possible. So I took a plastic cup and I turned it upside down, and you'll see that I traced all of the cups so that all of my models are the same size, so that when I go to compare them, I'm not making any mistakes. So now I'm going to go back to the problem, and I'm going to start with the blue team. So it says 2/8 of students are on the blue team. So I'm going to color in 2/8. That's what that looks like. For the red team, it says that 1/8 is on the red team. And then for the yellow team, it is also 1/8. And for the green team, we actually have 4/8 of the students. All right, so I've completed my model, and now what we're doing is we're just going to go down and answer the question. We have broken down our problem, we've made a model, we have a strategy, and now we're going to go back and think about, okay, we know this is talking about a field day, we know we're talking about fractions, but what was it asking me to do again? I have to go back and look. So the last part of the question says, which team has the most students? So I could even ask you, if this was your field day, what team would you want to be on? Because the way I'm looking at it, it doesn't look really fair. We have some teams that don't have a lot of people on them. So when I look to answer the question, it looks like the most kids are on, if you said the green team, then you were correct. You can see that in this model, the 4/8 takes up way more space than the 1/8 or the 2/8. And there's actually one other thing that I notice about the green team. If I look at this fraction, thinking about that fraction, 4/8 kind of looks familiar. What else would that look like if this was divided into 2 pieces instead of eighths? This would also be a half. So anytime I'm doing this, just like the other day, that I make a discovery like that, I'm going to put 4/8 is equivalent to 1/2. Same size, takes up the same amount of space in my shape. So I'm just going to write that down, and I'm going to keep that somewhere where I can remember from now on. Hopefully when I see 4/8, I know that that is equivalent to 1/2. So that is it for our math concept today. And so now I'm getting ready to introduce our special guest for today. I'm so excited that she's here. So we're going to welcome Miss James. Hey,
Hi guys! It's so good to be here.
We're so excited to have you. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. It's nice to see a friendly face. It has been some time. As you can see, we are still doing our social distancing, but I'm so excited to be here and talk with you and show you our fun activity that we created together.
Yes. So today is kind of like an art, kind of mindful activity. So there's many parts to it, and we couldn't show it all in the video, so we're just going to show you, we're going to explain what we did, and then we'll show you our finished products, and we're going to share those with you. So we went on a nature walk because one of the things that you can do during social distancing, with supervision, of course, with your parents or someone, you can definitely go on nature walks. You can go on runs, things that are away from other people, except for the people that live in your household. So that is something that Miss James and I have both taken advantage of over this time because we like to get outside. So what we did was we went out and collected some sticks. And we tried to find sticks that were curved, and you're going to see why in just a second. So we found sticks, and then we painted them different colors. So I'm going to show you what mine looks like. So hopefully you can tell that this is a rainbow. So we actually made stick rainbows, and there's many parts to this. So the first part is, and Miss James is going to show you hers. Yep. So the biggest thing is to have the part of walking outside and just being in nature and picking up some sticks, some things to make this. But this is really to get us thinking about what are some positive things that have come out of this situation. We know we've been in this situation for a couple months now. It's a very challenging time for a lot of people. It's really hard not only to just stay in our houses and not see our friends, but it's just very hard on our parents and everybody. So we just wanted to think of something that we could do to think about the positive things. And one of the symbols of positivity is a rainbow. And one of my favorite sayings in the world is, when it rains, look for the rainbow, because eventually that's going to come in the end. So this is our sunny side rainbow at the end, since we are getting closer to the end of our quarantine time, and we just wanted to share with you. We picked 3 things to write on our rainbow that were the positive things that we have gotten so far out of this situation. So I'm going to let Miss James share hers with you.
So the 3 things that I chose during this quarantine, I've been able to focus on something that I've been saying that I wanted to do forever now, and I have the time to. I have just built myself a garden. I have a little 4x4, and I painted it white. So now I have tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, and peppers all growing in my backyard now. So that leads to my second thing, which I chose my healthy eating. So this garden's going to allow me to have fresh vegetables in my backyard, and it's going to help me with my healthy recipes and cooking. And so I've had time to really pull out recipes online and on Pinterest, and I've been able to play with all that different stuff. So I have my garden, my cooking, and I've been able to do my daily workouts, which Miss A and I are going to do right after this. We're going to form a little workout for you guys. And then, of course, quality time with my Cooper, which, if you don't know Cooper is my dog. So I know when I'm working and working out after work, I'm away from him for quite some time during the day. So now that I'm actually working from home, I'm able to take him on a couple walks a day, and we get to cuddle on the couch. So those are my 3 positive things that I've been loving during this time. Even though it's been really hard, we're both trying to focus on the positives.
Yes, and that's one of the main reasons that I invited Miss James to be on this episode, because I think that she is a really positive person. She always tries to find the good in a situation, so I thought that she was perfect person to come be with us today. Okay, so my number 1 is nature and walking. I think that I have a new appreciation for being outside. I never liked to be outside before, but now that I was kind of limited on the things that I could do, I started going with my best friend every day, who I've been with during quarantine. So that's someone that has been in my household, because remember, we're staying away unless we're in that household with people. So we've gone walking every day. She has not been able to work because of this, so that's not a great thing, but a good thing that did come with that is spending that quality time with people you don't see a lot. Because when I'm at school and I'm working and she's working all the time, we don't get to spend a lot of time together. So this has been a really good bonding time for us, and it has helped us to become more healthy and get into a better routine of just being in the fresh air and working out. So that was my number one thing.
I've been telling Miss A how proud I am of her because she has been very dedicated getting that exercise in every single day.
Yes, and I will definitely miss that. That's the one thing I'll miss when we're, back in normal life. But I won't miss it more than I miss being with you guys. So I'm still excited for that to happen. So the second thing is kind of goes with number one, time with friends and family. And like I said, my best friend who's been with me this whole time, and then just my close family that lives in my household, getting to spend more time with them has definitely been a plus. We've sat down at the table and ate more meals together, things that we should have been doing before. So that's been really nice. And then we have the challenge of finding things that we can go and do. We went to the dog park a few times, and we never would have taken that time to go and do that any other time. So that's been really great. And then the third one is kind of like Miss James' garden, my projects. I've done a lot of work around my house, just things that get ignored when I don't have time. So I've really enjoyed like kind of cleansing out some stuff that I don't need and, redoing some things while I've had the time on my hands. So those are just the positive things that I like to think about. And I think overall, I think Miss James would agree, it would just be our biggest thing would be that time with people and time for yourself to rest, because we all get very, very tired. That's one thing I didn't put on here, but I really enjoyed just being able to just and rest and just think about things that I don't have a lot of time to think about. So those are just the positive things. But like we said, we can't wait to get back to normal life and get back with you guys. And
we miss you guys very much, and we hope that you can take this craft and think about, even though in all this time of uncertainty and negativity, you can take this and really take that time to reflect on what's important to you and the things that you've been able to grow from during this time.
Yes. And that just reminded me that you said that too, because the craft. So you will need sticks, paint. I'm not sure how markers or crayons would work. I think paint's probably going to be your best option. I use toilet paper, but make sure you ask your mom and dad because you don't want to waste that. But you could also use cotton balls. I just didn't have any because I wanted to shred some of those up, so that would actually be a better option if you have that.
You could even use a little piece of paper.
Oh, yeah,
and
paper.
Cut it up and glue it down on there.
Yep. And I used a hot glue gun, so if you do that, make sure you have your mom or dad to help you. But you could also use some clear tape and just, I was thinking you could tape it down close to the edges of whatever you use here, and then you won't see the tape. So you could try to make this work. The background is literally out of a box that I had. You can see I just cut it out. So you can do it on paper. You could do it on any kind of old cardboard, wood if you really have it. But this is just something to help you with your art, because that's still super important, is expressing ourselves through art, but really just that mindful part of thinking and being grateful in the moment. So we hope that you enjoy this today, and we hope that you guys are doing well, and we miss you, and we thank Miss James for coming.
Thank you for having me, and it was good seeing you guys today.
And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.